So I've been meaning to do some recordings about Total Nonstop Action Wrestling Impact, and I've been putting it off because it's lack of time. And while, as I said, I've been wanting to talk about it because ever since they started, they're now on their fourth episode since they've started on Destination America. They've had some dumb things, they've had some good matches, but this week. This week it took the cake, and I've had enough. I need to point this out. So I've got some notes. I'm gonna be going off of notes, some notes in memory of the night. If I miss anything, I apologize, but I'm gonna be covering mostly what's been bugging me, because I think that right now is kind of what's on top of everything right now when it comes to Total Nonstop Action Wrestling. So the show starts, and first thing we see is Bobby Roode coming down to the ring carrying the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. And I gotta stop right there, because this requires backstory. Alright, so 3 weeks ago, when they had Destination Impact, which was their live first episode of Impact on Destination America, every title was on the line that night. So, Knockouts title, the tag team belts, the X Division title, which, by the way, they just buried the X Division, and the World Heavyweight Championship. And the World Heavyweight Championship match was between Bobby Roode and Bobby Lashley. So for the sake of trying to not get confused, I'm going to refer to them as Roode and Lashley, because it's just weird because they both have the first name Bobby. Anyways. So, apparently this is the third match that they've had for the World Heavyweight Championship, but that part doesn't really matter. Going into the match, Roode was the champion, and Lashley was the challenger. Anyways, they have this match, and then during this match, MVP brings a couple of guys to the ring and surround it, and they're revealed it's Low Ki and Samoa Joe, and these guys are all now, along with Kenny King, part of what MVP now calls the Beatdown Clan. But actually, they don't do anything other than just distract them for a little bit, because Eric Young comes out and he chases them off, but then he turns around and cranks Roode over the head. Lashley gets the win, and now Lashley is the World Heavyweight Champion. A week goes by. So this is now 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, MVP is talking about how he's brought the World Heavyweight Championship home. It belongs to the Beatdown Clan. And Bobby Lashley is not having any of this. He's like, I don't care what you did. I didn't need your help. That's my title. And MVP does not appreciate this attitude. So he proceeds to turn on Lashley, have all the members of the Beatdown Clan, which apparently includes Eric Young, even though he's not part of it, supposedly. They turn on him, and they beat him down. And MVP walks off with the World Heavyweight Championship. Basically, he steals it. Because he's like, it's the Beatdown Clan's title. So we had possession of it. So, last week, Lashley comes out and he's like, I want my title back. That's my property. So, he's interrupted by Kenny King. And there's, bickering. But ultimately, what Lashley wants is his title back. So Lashley ends up getting in a match with Kenny King. And during this match, he proceeds to throw Kenny King over the top rope onto the rest of the Beatdown Clan. The title is dropped by MVP. So Lashley, if he was using his head, could have just taken his title and walked away. It's not like it was a title match. It's not like the match mattered. If he really just wanted his belt, he could have walked away with it right then and there. He didn't. So he proceeds into, in that match, get jumped. He wins by disqualification because of this, but he gets jumped. He gets beaten down by everyone. MVP takes the title again and is like, if you want it, come get it. Meet me outside later. I'll be waiting in the streets for you. So, like a fucking idiot, Bobby Lashley goes out to meet MVP and proceeds to get jumped again on the same night. This gets worse, by the way. So he's getting beaten down, but he's saved by Kurt Angle and Rude. And the last scene of the night is apparently MVP dropped the title. Bobby Roode picks up the title, and the last thing we see is Lashley standing there, staring down Bobby Roode, and Bobby Roode staring down Lashley with Bobby Roode holding the title. So, when we get to this week, Bobby Roode is in the ring holding the World Heavyweight Championship. So Lashley just let him walk away with his title? What the fuck, TNA? Taz even says, I guess he just didn't give it back. Like, that's some sort of fucking explanation. This is so unbelievably stupid. And a big waste of time, because ultimately, he's gonna give the title back anyways. That was his plan. But, as stupid as this is, it is a way to set up tonight's main event. And it ends up being, Roode wants his rematch, because he was unfairly he unfairly lost the title. And then Austin Aries is like, hey, I've got a title shot because I won the title shot World Heavyweight Championship thing with the Feast or Fired match. And MVP is like, technically you wouldn't even have that belt, Bobby Lashley, if it wasn't for us. Even though actually it was because of Eric Young, but whatever. So Lashley is just like, you know what? I'll take on all three of you, and we will have a fatal four-way tonight for my title. I'm not going to complain that that's kind of an awesome main event with Bobby Roode, Bobby Lashley, Austin Aries, and MVP, but the setup for this was really fucking dumb. I cannot believe how unbelievably stupid that was. It should not have been that bad. It really should not have been that bad. I am still just shocked at how stupid they managed to make that. Anyways. So we have the first match of the night. And you know what? It's a Knockouts title match with Taryn Terrell, Gail Kim, and Madison Rayne. At least I'm pretty sure it's Madison Rayne. Whatever. It was an okay match. Taryn Terrell managed to get the victory and retain her belt. However, I do have to point out it just kind of speaks volumes about the crowd in New York when the only thing they chanted during that entire match was, "We want puppies." Yeah, there's no respect for the Knockouts. They're not being treated as wrestlers. They're being treated as eye candy. And I understand, for the most part, that's in a lot of wrestling, that's what they do. But when you're also trying to push Awesome Kong and Havoc, especially as that's the only Knockouts match of the upcoming Lockdown event, special event, it kind of downplays the Knockouts and makes you wonder why they're even bothering with them. Especially considering they're both being built as basically women who can kill the men, too. There's some more segments in here. I don't remember them very well. Then this is another thing I remember pretty well. Tommy Dreamer, he comes out to the ring and he calls out Eric Young because he wants to confront Eric Young about apparently saying, "Eric, you've made a mistake on turning on Bobby Roode." And the reason I bring this up mostly is because Tommy Dreamer says, because this is treated. You have to understand, in wrestling, there's such a thing as kayfabe, which is the fake but true fiction of the show, and when they go outside of that, it's called shooting. Well, I don't think this was shooting. At least, it doesn't. You can't shoot like this, but still also apply kayfabe to it. So I have to treat this as if it's in kayfabe. So Tommy Dreamer comes out, and he proceeds to say something really fucking stupid. He goes, "The first person to offer me their hand when I first came here, as in came to TNA, was you, Eric Young. And the second was Bobby Roode." As I said, the way this is being presented, I have to take it as it's not shooting, it's in kayfabe. Because he's addressing the kayfabe situation that's happening right now. Where Eric Young is burning his bridge with Bobby Roode and turned on his friend. A quick history lesson. When Tommy Dreamer joined Total Nonstop Action Wrestling, Eric Young had supposedly suffered a concussion and brain damage to the point where he thought a mannequin was alive. In fact, he had a match where he threw the mannequin into the ring. There's a tag match, and proceeded to yell, "I can't get in, I'm not the legal man," implying the fucking mannequin was the legal man in the match. And on top of this, Bobby Roode was in a tag team called Beer Money with James Storm, which was part of a faction called Fortune, who were actively fighting against Tommy Dreamer and the other ECW guys. Oops. Tommy. Oops. You forgot your history. Of course, shouldn't be surprised. It's TNA. They're fucking idiots. But at least this is stupid and entertaining. It's so stupid it's funny. When WWE is stupid, it's stupid and boring. So, at least that. And then I also have to say this. Because this was dumb as well. This episode in two ways completely dropped the fact that this is extremely pre-taped in advance. Because, first of all, throughout the entire night, including way at the beginning before they even announced that Kurt Angle was trying to put together a team to fight MVP's Beatdown Clan at Lockdown, they were doing advertisements for next week's Lockdown. But for the advertisement, they were using clips from next week's Lockdown. Because they were showing things involving people that have never been involved in the Lockdown matches and these Lockdown cage matches like this before. They're from next week's show. So not only are you already telling us that you've already taped this when you're airing your current program, but you're also giving some spoilers. Just saying. Including the Jeff Hardy spot where he gets knocked off a cage door and lands on top of lands on top of the steel steps. It's in fact the first fucking thing they show in the goddamn promo. And then there is also a little promo Matt and Jeff Hardy where Matt says, "So we finally, after months after earning our chance, we're finally getting at Lockdown, finally getting our chance to fight the Revolution inside that cage and win the tag team championship." Matt said months. The opportunity he earned months ago. Or they earned months ago. If you're watching the show, it happened 2 weeks ago. Oops. Wow. You just completely dropped the ball on the fact that this show was extremely pre-taped. And that there's huge gaps between tapings. Some people really should get their fucking shit together and make sure this sort of shit doesn't happen, because it really, really takes you out of the experience and really makes it look fake and stupid and ruins your suspension of disbelief. So dumb. I don't know if this is before or after the Monsters Ball match, but there was a spot where Rockstar Spud and his friend, the guy that won British Boot Camp, I can't remember his name, it's out of my head. They were calling out Ethan Carter III and Tyrus to fight them in a tag team match, because EC3 has been tormenting Rockstar Spud ever since his ever since his kayfabe aunt went through a table by Bully Ray. Even though it wasn't Rockstar Spud's fault, but he's been taking it out on him apparently. So they've been feuding. And EC3 is like, well, your request for the match is denied. And they proceed to say, but I found some people that will fight you. So, the bromance. Robbie E. and I don't remember the other guy's name. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get back into TNA. I don't know everyone. But the bromance come out, and it's an okay match. It's actually a pretty good match, with Rockstar Spud and his other friend winning. But Taz and Josh Matthews go on to mention how Robbie E still has a job here because he was smart, and in fact a genius, because he had gotten the briefcase in the Feast or Fired match with the pink slip in it. And if you get the briefcase with the pink slip in it, you're fired. And apparently, since Velvet Sky, by the way, if I'm getting the names mixed up, I'm sorry. Velvet Sky, since she's the one that actually took down the briefcase, it was her case. And she's the one that gets fired. I have to say, this is so fucking dumb. I don't understand how they continue to allow this bullshit. Where apparently you can count in a match you're not scheduled to be in. I said this was stupid at the Royal Rumble, where apparently Eric Rowan took Curtis Axel's spot in the Rumble because he hit him. So, I mean, not only is it stupid that they're saying, well, it's her case because she took it down. Not only is this stupid because she wasn't entered in the match, this is stupid because in order to even be entered in the match, you had to volunteer to be in the match because of the risk involved. She didn't volunteer. She took it down because he asked her to. Is no one running this? Is no one managing this fucking show? Robbie E should be fired. This is stupid, it's bullshit, and I fucking hate it. Because between that and WWE, the logic that they're presenting me with is if I go, let's say, to WrestleMania and I run Brock Lesnar over with a bus and take his belt, because I took him out of the match, I am now able to enter myself in the match and fight Roman Reigns to be WWE champion. That's the kind of logic I'm being presented with here. This is how fucking dumb this is getting. This shit should not fly. It should not be allowed to fly. And Robbie E should be fucking fired. And they're not gonna, because they're fucking morons. But this is stupid. It is so fucking stupid. And I hate it. Anyways, they proceed to make a match for Lockdown, where it's a handicap match with Tyrus and Rockstar Spud and his friend. I didn't care. Then they have a Monsters Brawl match, whatever it's called. It's basically just a hardcore match. Anything goes. Fuck, no compares. There's no rules between Jeff Hardy and Abyss. And I'm gonna tell you, this is not the first time they've had a monster. Those two have had this match before. It's just not. But anyways, so they're having a Monsters Brawl match, which has no rules. And of course, since Abyss is part of a faction called the Revolution, they get involved. And I mean, it's just a bunch of spots and hardcore shit. It's not really that good. In fact, I've taken notice in this match that Jeff Hardy has slowly become Sabu. Jeff Hardy's style has very, very slowly over time become almost exactly the same as Sabu's. To the point where Jeff Hardy was doing the same, setting up a steel chair, setting up a chair to do jumps and dives off of, just like Sabu used to. And to about the same effect. He just didn't fuck up as much. So Jeff Hardy is Sabu now. Anyways, so the Revolution, this whole group get involved. You know, Matt Hardy comes out, get involved. Then, but he's it's 2 against 6 or however many it is. So Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards, the Wolves, come out, and they're awesome. I wish they were the ones that were the tag team champions, but they come out and Jeff Hardy just manages to get the win. So look forward to their tag match at Lockdown, I guess, for the titles. I do have one thing to say about the Revolution. I don't know how the gimmick started. I don't know really that much about the background. I'm kind of just getting introduced to what the fuck's going on with him. But James Storm whistling is not menacing in any way to me, and I think it's really dumb, and they should get rid of that stupid whistling thing. I don't like it. So anyways, last thing of the night, the last thing I'm really going to talk about is the title match at the end of the night. So Austin Aries, Bobby Roode, MVP, and Bobby Lashley for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. And on his way to the ring, Josh Matthews asks the $1 million question. Yes, why would Lashley put himself in this match for he only has a 25% chance of keeping his title? Where I promptly respond, Josh, I think we've already established that Lashley is a fucking idiot. Now I understand his character is supposed to be confident and tough, but we can chalk this up to him being a moron. I don't think he knows what numbers are. I don't think he knows what percents are. Just saying. I think he just says, it's a match. It's a match. I'll just need to pin one guy. I can do that. He goes out there and tries to do that. It's an okay match. You get pretty good matches when you have Bobby Roode and Austin Aries involved. MVP's pretty good too at times, and Lashley's really good actually. For a big guy, he can do a pretty good match with different styles. Playing off different styles. It's one thing I can always give TNA credit for is that they've done a really good job at that. But I do have to point out where the whole Bobby Roode wanting a rematch thing and it being a big deal and stuff. I'm still waiting for Austin Aries to bring up the fact that he lost his last X Division title match. He lost the title and has yet to receive his rematch. Because when he lost it, it was Low Ki's rematch for the title because Loki lost it last time they had a match. Yes, the X Division championship means so little that apparently this beatdown clan who cares about the titles and owning the titles can just let it go and care so little that we can just get it back next week. It's not a big deal. And Austin Aries cares so little that I don't even need to get a rematch. Considering Austin Aries is the guy about having multiple options, where his gimmick is and his thing is, I have multiple options, and supposedly one of his options is he can turn in the X Division title for the World Heavyweight Championship, or for a chance at the World Heavyweight Championship. You think trying to get that back would be on his list of things to do? But no, it's he cares so little about the X Division title that that doesn't even cross his mind. So it's just more evidence to show that the X Division is being completely buried in TNA, and it's the one thing that really makes them stand out, and they're fucking it up so bad. Lashley does manage to retain his belt, and the end of the night basically has them setting up for the Kurt Angle, the Team Angle versus the Beatdown Clan match, and announced that it's going to be Kurt Angle. Austin Aries gets to join in with their team, with Team Angle. He also has Gunner. And he asked Lashley to join him, but Lashley turned him down, so now we were left on a cliffhanger with who's going to be the fourth guy. I don't know who it's going to be. I'm sure if you paid really, really close attention to the lockdown preview, the lockdown promo video, you probably could figure out who it is. I'm sure there's a clip in there where it gives it away. I don't know enough to have figured it out. The only thing I forgot about the night was a bit with Magnus and his partner Bram, where basically they broke up the team. Bram's turned on Magnus and beat the ever living shit out of him after tricking him to thinking everything was okay. That's very very generic tag team breakup angle. Nothing really to complain about there, but all in all, as entertaining as it was, this episode was full of so many stupid things. It was such terrible shit at some points that I had to get it out there. Anyways, if you liked it, like, comment, and subscribe. I will keep doing this if people really want to. I will try to keep doing this. It's fun. It's fun to bitch. I will admit that. But yeah, TNA. I keep giving you more chances than you deserve, and you continue to be stupid. Seriously, right now, this is why Lucha Underground is my favorite fucking wrestling to watch. At least out of stuff that's airing in the US. Take care, everyone. Everyone.